Oh, yeah, that might help. Thank you, Casey MMA. This is why I've been talking for, again, first show. First show, we have decided to just have a muted mic. That's how this should be, to be honest. That's perfect for how this show should start. Oh my God. We started off with it, man. Thank you, KZMMA. You're wonderful, wonderful. Not to steal the MMA holes. This person clicked the link. You guys click the link wherever you are. This is the Ray Hyclak Show. I don't know what this show is going to turn into. I don't know what this show is going to evolve into. I have a story on why I'm wearing sunglasses today as well. I'm gonna have crutches while we're getting used to doing this format. If recorded a whole prediction video with a microphone muted once. I've done podcasts with my mic muted, and we didn't even know because we could hear each other. So yeah, I've been there. I mentioned the MMA holes community. Shout out to them. They're always amazing. This podcast, I gotta turn this fucking side thing down, I think. Yeah. Or is it this one? Yeah, I think I need to lighten this light a little bit. We're gonna do this live. We're doing it live, bitches. A little softer light there. Maybe a little bit on the left. Ooh, this is good. This is good lighting, I think. Welcome. This is the Ray Hyclak Show live. Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitch. I might do Kick. I really haven't decided yet. But if you have been a fan of me before or a follower of me, I came from Bro Bro Plata, which was or at least attempted to be an MMA podcast. And we tried. Oh, did we try? We had watch-alongs like what you saw on yesterday's stream on Abraham Drinking and my stream, the Ray Hyclak, or my channels, the Ray Hyclak Show and at Ray Hyclak, where we broke down UFC Paris. We'll talk about the main card because that's the most impressive part. Was the entire card was pretty much all finishes. There were some decisions, but not anything where it was like super close decisions. Maybe one, but what are you going to do? I am 241st in MMA Holes Goat Milk, by the way, already ranked. And I'm looking forward to going up the ranks perfectly and getting as many as I can. I'm not wearing sunglasses to be cool. I'm not wearing sunglasses to be like, some kind of fucking, hey, I'm badass, man, right? Which one? Gustafson looked that one was a fast stop. Like I rewatched that one. That was a fast stop for sure. The one I'm trying to think. The last McKee was definitely a bit of a quick stoppage with Herb Dean on the main card. Again, we'll talk about that stuff later in the show. Also, real fast, if you could, wherever you're watching this podcast right now, there are links in the description. Shout out Jimmy Ward. You're wearing sunglasses for your glaucoma. I wish it was glaucoma. It would have been cooler than the story of why I'm wearing fucking sunglasses right now. I might switch to my glasses, but who knows? It's the first episode. Yesterday was sort of a soft launch for the podcast. Also, again, up here, this is what you need to do. I like your grammar correction in the thing. Thank you. By the way, the mental ward, Jimmy Ward and Jimmy Ward, the third that is in the chat on the screen right now. Go check them out on the Abraham Drinking Podcast Network. I'm going to call it a podcast network for George. I'm just going to call it because there's multiple podcasts now on it. It's not just the Abraham Drinking podcast. It's not just you guys anymore. It's a bunch of us psychos. See my fucking eyes all swollen? I'll tell you why. But go to the description of the video. If you're on X, go to my YouTube. But go to YouTube right there too. That'll be there. But also there is a Patreon link right here. All you have to do is scan the QR code. It's right fucking there for you to watch. And you can join the Patreon. First video I'm going to do is the review of the movie Weapons. That'll be up tomorrow morning. $5 gets you a producer credit on the show. $10 gets you an executive producer credit. And also full access to the archive. So you might want to get that. But $5 gets you a producer credit and early access to content before it goes up on YouTube, which will probably be, I'll take like a month. I'll bank stuff over a month to kind of just post. And then I can post it on YouTube all at once. But go to my Patreon, patreon.com/The Ray Hyclak Show. Become a supporter of the show. And you can also get a credit at the end of the show. I'm going to have executive producer and producer credits at the end of the show, as you'll see. But that's so far what we're working with on the Ray Hyclak Show. Just to let you guys kind of know who I am, let me do a little bit of a quick introduction. This is going to completely change. But then I can finally go to this, which is who the fuck am I? Who am I? Why am I here? Why did I start a show named after myself and do what the fuck I'm doing right now, which is entertaining you guys for at least an hour every single week here on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, X, wherever the fuck you like to watch your live streams, your live podcasts. I'm going to answer those questions right fucking now. I am a Cleveland-born comedian. I've been doing stand-up comedy for about 11 years now. It's a little over 11 years. And I've done comedy in different cities. Las Vegas is the one I always pimp out because I love Las Vegas. It's the perfect place for me to just be me, which is a scumbag, really. I can gamble whenever I want. A lot of the off area casinos actually still do drink service. I know it's a novel fucking concept for the people on the strip to understand that people love comped drinks. You can give us fucking, gray duck or whatever kind of fucking shitty low end vodka as long as it's free while we're playing blackjack or baccarat or what the fuck ever, which I played baccarat my time away from actually doing shit. And I have opinions. But that'll come through this month. This month, really, with the Ray Hyclak Show, September, the first couple of weeks are gonna be sort of feel out shows. They're gonna be test shows, not like test shows as in like if it doesn't work, I'm gonna do this every week. I just established my own standard in podcasting, which is the mold standard of podcasting, which means I'm always gonna be here. I'm always gonna come back, and no matter how bad you try and get rid of it, it's like black mold. I'm gonna show up in your house some way if you're a fan of what I'm doing. That's how I look at this show. That is how I look at this show. It's supposed to be a fun bullshit session for an hour. That's really what this is. I want to make sure when I come on this show, I have stuff that I laughed at and I hope you guys laugh at as well. That's the big thing with this is I'm seeing a lot of people in my view count. It might be bots. I'm fine with bots at this point. It's given me a little bit of confidence to be able to do this. So I'll take that. If we can get if we can get some people in here, that would be amazing. Just again, I'm going to kind of go to my old thing here, which is just like, share, follow, subscribe, do all the things. Links are in the descriptions of some of the videos. Let's go to my dynamic scene again because it's where I can pull up my pictures pretty easily. This podcast, what I envision from this podcast is just basically my view of the week, my view of sports, my view of what's going on in news. We do have some rules, definitely some rules that we need to establish quickly. I feel like we should start off with these in the who the fuck am I scenario as well, since I already kind of introduced myself as a Cleveland-born comedian, which are these rules. Freedom of speech is tolerated in the podcast itself, and it's a big thing for me. I feel like, consequences do need to be there, but you can say whatever you want. It's your choice to be an asshole. Whatever. I'm not going to hang out with that person, but I will let them get whatever they need to get out before they go home and hopefully bite a bullet. Yeah, you kind of want it. And chat will not be censored. I will not ban anybody for anything. You can say whatever you want in the chat. There is chats throughout each of my scenes. So if people want to kind of talk about what I'm talking about, I will acknowledge you while you are in that chat. I do believe in fan interaction. I kind of didn't really do that in the last podcast I did, which I will address as well a little bit deeper. The end of Bro Bro Plata and why the Ray Hyclak Show started. Respect each other in the chat. Also, amendment. This is a big one. I will choose not to put anything up if I think it's offensive, but you can say it in the chat and we won't ban you. So that's a big thing right there. You can show up in the chat underneath, but not on screen. I reserve the right to do that. Respect each other in the chat. Don't be dicks. Like, just don't be an asshole. Like, that's all I want out of this whole show is a cool community that actually fucking talks to each other. We get along. We have debate, which is the next rule number 4, but it should be talked about, which is respect is earned. It's not given in debates. So if you're just going to be an asshole and start like throwing around labels and throwing around little fucking, buzzwords and all this in debates in the chat, I'm going to start not acknowledging you. And I hope you understand that you can put it, it'll show up on screen. We have that. I'll show it in a second after I pull the rules off. But it's fuck you if you're just being a douchebag in the fucking chat. After any political segment, this is a big thing. This is one of the first rules I thought of, but it was the 5th rule because there's a couple lines to it, and I feel like it just fit perfectly in this. After any political segment, if I give a political opinion, and I use that word heavily, political opinion, pure and simple, there will be a mandatory 2 minutes of animals doing cute shit, no matter what kind of animals they are. That way we can bring the temperature of the water down a little bit more and get ready for the final segment, because politics will be usually last. News stories will be last. So we will probably start with some sports stuff but not today because I do want to introduce myself a little bit more to you guys and also some of the segments to the show as well that we encourage you guys to hit me up with in the chat, in the in the DMs. Let me kind of bring this here. Yeah. There we are. God damn. No, so I'm gonna kind of address why I got the glasses. My eyes swollen because I had an allergic reaction to a dog like a pussy. I was hanging out with my girlfriend and her family yesterday with a dog, by the way, that does not like me. Does not like me and a lot of other people. It's a very territorial dog, but apparently I am allergic as fuck to any dander that bitch puts off. And it's kind of interesting to like be in that scenario of a dog that you've done nothing to, like, and it just does not like you, but whatever, I'm fine with it. I've had that before in my day job. But besides that, what are you gonna do? But yeah, I had an allergic reaction. Like my eyes were like really fucking swollen up. I think I had some like hair on my goddamn fingers, and I wiped my eye real quick because I had something else in there. And oh, I don't know if you have ever, and anybody that watches this video tonight, I don't know if you have that allergy to where if like dog hair gets in your eye in any way, it fucks your day up. That's what I got. Like, it's so fucking bad, man. So fucking bad. Terrible. It is just not. It's. I drove like my girlfriend's sister's house is not far from where I live. And I drove to the gas station by my house, or one of the gas stations by my house, and just was like, I need fucking Claritin. My eyes feel, it felt like somebody was throwing sand in my eyes. Like, I don't know if anybody else has allergies like me on this, watching this in the chat. But if you get that fucking grainy little fucking like, God damn it, what the fuck did I do to deserve sand in my face, like eyes? That was the feeling yesterday. Like, it hurt. It fucking sucked. It was goddamn awful. Oh, but I'm fine now. And a little bit more about me. Since I am going to try and put some sports into this podcast and really kind of make this a digestible podcast for people to watch and, you know, get news and opinion from me. My favorite sports are hockey, combat. I actually, I know I don't look it. I drink like I did. I was a hockey player my entire life. My mom worked for the Cleveland Lumberjacks hockey team, which was a big team here in the 90s, starting about 1992. And she worked for them until we moved to Houston, Texas, where I lived in Mission Bend, Texas for about a year. We lived with friends before, family friends before that. And as you can tell, went well. But we lived down in Houston for a while. I am a Houston Rockets fan because they won a championship on my birthday. So there is that part of my fandom. I may live in Cleveland, but I am not And I repeat, not. And in sports tonight, we'll talk about the two games that went on. A tale of two cities, if you will. For my sports team, or for the other thing that I am into is combat sports. Yesterday, people joined me for Main Card Madness, which is a UFC live reaction show, boxing reaction show, combat sports reaction show that I'm going to start doing on the regular. If there's multiple things in a day and I have the day off and the stuff starts early, I will get on, take breaks, maybe play some videos in between, and then come back. But this whole thing, when it comes to combat sports, I grew up watching boxing on ESPN. I loved it. I played the Knockout Kings video games. I played Punch Out as a kid. A lot of the video games I played too were combat sports related. When I got a PlayStation 2, one of the first games I ever got was UFC Tap Out, which was like, it was the primitive version of a UFC game. Like, if anybody remembers UFC Tap Out, that game was annoying as fuck if you did it on a really hard level. Like, if it was on a hard level, you were just like, I don't want to fucking deal with this. This is terrible. But, as I got older, I got into UFC. I got into K1 in the 2000s. That's where I learned about Bob Sapp before he was on Longest Yard and before he did anything with like New Japan Pro Wrestling. Which combat sports to me does involve professional wrestling. I am a professional wrestling nerd. I'm currently in the process of finding time to read a book called The Fall Guys, the Barnum and Bailey's of Bounce, which, if I start really getting into it, I might do a chapter by chapter of it. I'm only on, I think, the first couple pages. But no, I go to local wrestling shows too here in Cleveland. AIW, Absolute Wrestling, Absolute Intense Wrestling. Shout out to John Thorne and the boys for doing stuff. They do stuff at the Globe Iron down in the Flats in Cleveland, Ohio. I go to WWE shows. I've never been to a WrestleMania. That's a bucket list for me. I might put together my bucket list at the end of the month and tell you guys kind of what my bucket list things are. Definitely one of them was seeing Ozzy Osbourne. That's not going to happen, sadly. But what are you going to do? Life goes on. I actually went to Ozfest in 2002, and the headliner of Cleveland's Ozfest 2002 was System of a Down. So, yes, I am Jimmy Ward. Shout out to the mental ward, Jimmy Ward and company. Abraham Drinking, check them out. That's let me go back to my screen here. That's that right there. And then do what it says. Do what that says. And then also, let me see if I can get to it here. The other sport I am into is baseball. I am not a Cleveland Indians fan. I do not have a track record of winning as a baseball fan. I have a track record of baseball teams I love cheating in the World Series to win a ring. So I'm no longer a Houston Astros fan. They can suck my ass as far as I'm concerned. Huge I actually root for the Guardians when it comes to against the Astros, even though I lived in Houston for a long time. I will never get over the cheating scandal in 2016 when the Astros won a World Series off of stealing signs. Never fucking ever will I be a party to something like that, especially a World Series. I take as I hit my own mic stand. I take baseball very seriously. I'm a purist. I think Ralph Manfred, outside of a few adjustments to the game of baseball, has been a bit of a detriment to the game because of some of the big rules changes that he's done. And you can go back and just Google them. Bigger bases, not one of them. The pitch clock, I thought was going to be a fucking farce. Like, I thought that was just going to be a goddamn joke. And it actually has turned out to be a great thing. I hate the ghost runner in extra innings. I hate the ghost runner. Fucking earn that run with every goddamn swing of the bat of your team. If you're fucking down or up, suck a dick, bitch. Don't fucking add a runner just because you think, it'll make the game go faster. Make it go 17 innings. I was at PNC Park as a child. By the way, I'm going to that right now of what my city. There it is. What? I'm confused. Why is that not playing? Oh, that's the news for today, folks. Why is that not going? See, this is why we need to do this. There it is. My sports teams. I'm a very loyal person to the city. I am a Pittsburgh sports fan living in Cleveland, Ohio. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, but I am a Pittsburgh sports fan. Like I said, my mom worked for the Cleveland Lumberjacks, an IHL minor league hockey team that was established in the early 90s, about 1992 here in Cleveland. Came from Muskingum, Michigan, down to Richfield, where the miracle at Richfield happened. I was there early on in my life and learned to skate on the Richfield Coliseum ice, which was actually a cool thing. I will try after I really get this going to get some old Lumberjacks on this show to talk about the old days, talk about some locker room stories that they can tell, some fights maybe. My throat is parched. Sorry. And like I said, this whole thing's going to go. Political beliefs. I am fiscally conservative. I'm a working guy, blue collar. I have a whole segment on this show that you guys will be able to watch called Blue Collar Hell, which you can then add on to that. Email me. There's an email for it. Socially liberal. I am full on socially liberal. I'm not left. I am liberal. So I just want to make that distinction as well. Just kind of, I'm not saying I'm full on left or I'm full on anything. My mind can be changed on a subject if I hear it from somebody's point of view, or if I hear something with fact behind it, I will get behind the idea if it is something I believe in. If it's something I don't believe in, I will either do two things. I will either remove myself from that situation and not really like it, because it's not my battle. I know what my battles are. Usually that's just taxes, the millennial problem of housing and affordability of that housing. There's a lot of that going on. We've been starting to get priced out since about '08. But what are you gonna do? It's that's capitalism, and also government being in capitalism, which is never good. Never good at all, dog. Let's bring up the other things. Music tastes. Music tastes, I'm very open. I'm going to have some top 10 or some top 5 lists coming up. I'm seeing T-Pain in October here in Cleveland. I'm going to go see him for the first time. I will have a T-Pain top 5 the week of the show. Most of my music, to be honest with you, is punk rock. I am a big fan of the band Flogging Molly, actually. Let me show you. Kind of. There it is. Yep. There's my Flogging Molly tattoo. I willingly paid money for this, by the way. This was a full-on decision I made. It's supposed to be orange right here, but I haven't had time to really make this a thing. So, what are you gonna do? Oh yeah, and also I'm a Pirates fan too. I forgot to mention that part. I know people are just coming in, but with my sports, yeah, I'm a Pirates, Penguins, and Steelers fan. I will talk about the Steelers and Browns coming up in the sports segment, along with UFC Paris. So make sure to stick around. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the things you need to do to make my life fun. I'll bring this up just so you can see a visual representation of what I want. Do that. Do that. Get back, gang. Thank you for being here, sir. Or ma'am, however you identify in 2021 or 2021. Oh boy, this is gonna be a show. I'm nervous. There's a few like jitters I got to this whole thing. Let's bring that back down to terra firma. Movie tastes. Very open. My favorite genre is comedy. I love old comedies. My favorite movie of all time, because I played hockey for most of my life, was Slapshot. And I can quote Slapshot word for word. One of the things that always I kind of say, like, if you have a sibling, there's maybe one or two things in your life where you look and you're like, fuck you, you got to do that, but I didn't. Mine always for my brother will be, he got to play on the ice of the War Memorial in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And for a hockey fan, if you hear those words, you get a boner. Like, you immediately are just like, holy shit. I can't believe this little bastard got to do this. He did. He got to place his skates on the ice of the War Memorial. I never got that chance. Although I did get to act out scenes from Slapshot while he was on the ice. So that was kind of cool for me to be in that setting, because I love Slapshot. Like, if you want to talk to me about greatest sports movies of all time, you gotta put Slapshot in there. You have to. It has to be in the conversation. If it's not in your top, I'll give you 10. There's a lot of sports movies, a lot of kids' sports movies. But if you love the movie Slapshot, all right, or if you love sports movies, you'll love the movie Slapshot. Like, that movie is perfectly done. Language, a little rough today. Not gonna lie. There are times where I watch that movie and I go, oh God, my sensibilities. But if you really just open your mind up to a fun, dumb hockey movie, just a ridiculously stupid hockey movie, Slapshot's the movie for you. It's absolutely 100% perfectly acted by Paul Newman. Like, Paul Newman, if he wasn't in that movie, it wouldn't make sense. It would be almost like the Take on Me video, but Paul Newman is in real life, and like the Hanson brothers are a cartoon. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that kind of it's that kind of thing where it's that kind of movie where it's just so, if because you take one guy out, and I found out Al Pacino wanted to play Reg Dunlap. Like, I could never see Reg Dunlap being Al Pacino. That baffles me to even think of Al Pacino as Reg Dunlap, and not to do like the thing, but just to think about Al Pacino at that time. This is like 1975. So he's like doing The Godfather. He's doing like, this is before he gets a lot of the voice, before fucking Scent of a Woman, before the impression really started to catch on, before Frank Caliendo had one of many voices to do. It would have been Reg Dunlap being Al Pacino. And thank God he couldn't skate. Thank God Al Pacino couldn't skate. That's why he didn't get the gig. Thank Christ. Oh, thank Christ. Oh, sorry, I got to take a break for a second. I've been going for. I did a 3-hour stream yesterday. You can check that out on Abraham Drinkin's podcast and also the Ray Hyclak Show. Let's bring this up. Love that movie. The three brothers were hilarious. They are. The Hanson brothers are the shit, dude. Like, that is one of the best hockey movies ever and one of the best sports movies ever. It's straight up. Let me take a sip of my beer. So let's get back to the thing. I just want to really quick welcome to the show. Thank you guys for being here. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the things. The sharing is the biggest thing. The sharing is the biggest part of this, because if you just share this out, it'll find people. We will find a community to build along with Abraham Drinkin and myself, and also right here. If you're watching on television, scan this code. $5 gets you early access to content. $10 gets you all the above stuff, including at the end of the show, we have a credits that I made for myself. And you'll get an executive producer, or you'll get a producer credit if you go to patreon.com, the Ray Hyclak Show, and make sure to become an executive. I got to bring this fucking microphone up. Make sure to become an executive producer on this show, or a producer of this show, because you're the reason the content will be made. You guys supporting the Ray Hyclak Show will help us get to the next levels, get to where we can make content. I want to do a bunch of fucking content on this show. I have a movie review thing that I'm going to talk about, or I'm going to do or next week. But I will have a Patreon review for the movie Weapons with Josh Brolin and the chick from Ozark. And man, I definitely need a paywall for what I want to say about that movie, because if you haven't seen the movie Weapons with Josh Brolin, you're a lucky person and you saved money in your life. So make sure to go to patreon.com/the Ray Hyclak Show for that, so you can hear my opinion and hopefully you enjoy it. Again, we have it's right there. I need to bring that right over here to make myself feel comfy. So what I'm about to do is a bit of a vulnerable thing for me. I've been trying to emotionally prepare myself to start playing these bits, and hopefully they catch fire. These are participation bits on the show that if you want to send in something, you kind of want to send in your story, I want you to be able to feel comfortable enough to share it with us, and I'm gonna do this as a sort of a get to know you portion of the show for the Ray Hyclak Show. And this is a bit I've come up with that people can send in for. There is an email in the background, but allow me to introduce you to the Dead Dad Club.
Welcome to the Dead Daddy Club, where we cry and we laugh and we tear it up. Raise a glass, yeah, we're feeling tough. Cheers to the dads, we'll never give up.
Welcome to the Dead Dad Club, everybody. The Dead Dad Club is a place for stories. It's a place for you to share your story with people who you may not, anonymously do this. You can do however you want. But this is a space where you can share and tell your story of losing a loved one, losing somebody close to you that was like family. That's what this is truly about. Is this segment, at least, is a little bit of a communal therapy session, is how I look at it. When I was dealing with the death of my father, which I'll tell the story here in a second, I really didn't have anybody in my life that knew what that life was about. Nobody I knew that I knew about, at least, had lost a relative that they were really close with. I didn't know anybody to talk to. Luckily, I had some community resources that I was able to use when I was growing up, and kind of, because I lost my father young. My story is, I lost my dad December 19th, 2009. It was a heat wave day in Cleveland, Ohio. It was unseasonably warm. Like, the snow had completely melted in December 19th or December 18th, 2009. And this was around the time also that the Obama era work programs for kids just out of high school or not really going to college could get into. And I got into a job with the city of Eastlake, out here in my area, Northeast Ohio. It's kind of hard. Like, this is kind of a weird thing to just air out on a podcast, but I feel like, honestly, I'd rather just be the first penguin on this and see if anybody is willing to email. You can email down here at Ray Hyclak Show, or Ray Hyclak Show at gmail.com. I encourage you, tell your story. Know that you aren't alone when you've lost family members and all that kind of stuff, the hurt and the pain. You're definitely not alone in that area. You may feel alone. There may be a part of your life where I was there. Like, I don't mean to sound like Jesse Ventura, man, but I was there. All right. I was in the fucking mental muck. Charlie was around me, and I knew I had to be the best frog man I could. And it was rough. But anyway, the day was a weird day because it was unseasonably warm, like really fucking warm, to the point where, like, when we were doing a leaf cleanup in a park, it was all leaves. There was no snow on top of it in December in fucking Cleveland. I was a cigarette smoker at the time, so I was chain smoking cigarettes. When my a guy that worked for the city at the time decided to, or came up and came up and was like, "Hey, Ray, listen, you're not in trouble," because I had gotten into a fight with my boss at the time. I got in trouble with him because we had a little bit of a spat the day before. I was just a young, dumb fucking retard. Like I was a shithead. I wasn't really like, when you're in your early 20s, you're not the best person. Late teens, early 20s, you're not the person that you think you're gonna be forever. All right. I've learned that being 36 years fucking old and having the thing of just like you become different, especially if you have a life altering thing. And so anyway, getting back to the story, go back to the office. Mom and grandma are hanging out in the office. Mom's teary eyed. Grandma's trying to be rock, but she has tears. And my mom looks at me and says words I'll never forget. Your dad had a stroke while at work over by the Menor Library. He's not, he's at the hospital and they're going to lifeline him soon. And that was when my world kind of shattered. Like, that's when whoever I was prior to now, I was. A new person had been completely created. The young, innocent, not really knowing much kid had kind of been destroyed, and like a beer can almost. Like, that's how, like, when I lost my dad, it felt like somebody treated my heart like a beer can. Like, it was a really horrifying, terrible feeling to lose a parent so suddenly and abruptly. It's not fun. It's not a fun experience. It sucks. It's especially when you see them hooked up to shit and really like that was where it was just like, this is reality. Like, if anybody's ever had that like horrible traumatic experience one where your brain kind of like your eyes shudder and you don't want to say it and then you start crying really bad. That was the day my dad died. Or the day my dad had a stroke. Yeah, he died the next day, which was a Saturday. My dad, if you're somebody who knew my dad and you're watching this, you know what my dad was like. And the best way to describe my dad was the happiest, drunk, angry guy you'd ever see in your life. As he got older, his anger got a little bit better. Really kind of got himself a new bag, if you will, on the way into being a good dad. He was a good dad. He wasn't a great father. He wasn't anything like that, but he was a good dad, was there for me when I needed him to be, would surprise me with shit. Big wrestling fan like myself. That's actually how I got my love of professional wrestling, was from my dad. And I'll never forget, and I'll end on this because I feel like it's kind of, we should move on, and I'll tell my blue collar hell story, which is another thing, but I'll advertise it again. Make sure the email over here, if it is legible, I'm hoping it's fucking legible. I tried to make it legible. It's Ray Hyclak Show at gmail.com. Subject: Dead Dad Club. If you want to share your story of losing somebody close to you, to help other people who feel like they're alone, know that they're in a community of people who, we've all had people we've lost in really earth-shattering ways. And actually, at the top of the show, Andrew Burge, who died after a horrible car accident, multiple surgeries. There was a nice little, I put an in memoriam for him at the beginning of the show. But My dad was a bit of an ass. My dad was the kind of guy who he always had a quip. He always had some kind of line to throw out. He was the reason I started getting into comedy. He took me to my first comedy show. But my dad went out the only way I know he probably ever wanted to go out, which was when you're in the hospital, you got the EKG meter right there on on a finger, right? And my father had his on this finger. And for a guy like my dad, who, like I said, was a bit of an ass, to have him go out like that with just his finger flat and saying "fuck you" to the world, is how I kind of hoped he would have gone out as you know, his son. I was kind of hoping that would be knowing who my father was. Really, you kind of want to go out giving the world the finger and saying, "Eat my ass." Put it up forward so y'all can eat. Bury me face down. He was one of those guys. Bury me face down so the world can fucking eat my asshole. That was my fucking father, and I loved him for it. Without a doubt, one of the coolest people I ever knew in my life. So let's bring this background back real quick as we kind of set up the next segment to get to know me in a way and my background. I work in pest control. And I've been doing 11 years, fully licensed in the state of Ohio, and I enjoy being a blue collar guy. I've been a working guy since I was about 19 years old. Body's breaking down. That's why I decided to make this podcast so people can see who I am and possibly be entertained by it, and hopefully you enjoy anything I'm doing, right? But I created this next segment just for people who work blue collar jobs. If you have a factory job, if you got a service pros, service professionals, plumbers, pest guys, what's another duct cleaning. I fucking did that shit for a little while. Installers, people who have to go into people's houses and either fix shit, renovate stuff, construction guys. I want to hear you do your demo stories. I'm gonna have a funeral director on here soon because I'm very interested in how that business goes down. I'm not going to have guests for the first 4 weeks of the show. I will announce our first guest coming up. It's October 5th. Big guest, huge guest. Probably the biggest guest I've ever had in my fucking career of interviewing people, and I've interviewed Pat fucking Miletich. But we all have a story, if you've worked blue collar, of those gross, disgusting houses that you've been into, sometimes on the regular. If you're a pest guy, if you're an HVAC guy, you have those problem customers. Those dirty, filthy, disgusting. You won't do anything but like just look around. You won't get on the floor. You won't do, because you know that there's just disease and cat shit everywhere. Kind of looking like Stuttering John's apartment. Like it's just bad. Well, I have a story that I want to tell in full. Two, actually. One is a roach job. The other one is a bed bug job that I did in pest control. But I want you guys as well. Feel free to tell me what your blue collar hell is.
Blue collar hell,
ringing like a crack church bell. Every hour just feeds the machine.
And we are here, Blue Collar Hell. You can join the conversation on it. Go to Ray Hyclak Show at gmail.com. Subject Blue Collar Hell. Doesn't have to be the color, obviously, in the font. I just wanted to be creative. And what I consider to be a blue collar hell was before I played the segment opener. I'm going to just reiterate what it is. It's either a regular customer or a one-time customer that you've had if you were working in a service pro area, if you were working as a plumber, if you were working in construction, duct work, fix HVAC. These just, you tend to go into other Americans' houses, other people in your country's houses, possibly. And some people are just fucking gross. They're just fucking gross. I have two stories in particular that are absolute blue collar hells. One I'm going to tell today. The other one I'm going to tell next week. So stay tuned to next week. Watch to listen to the next story. It's going to be a short segment. Then we'll get into some sports. We'll talk about Raja Jackson. We're going to also talk about the Browns and Steelers today. They didn't play each other, but they did play week 1 of the NFL season. I watched both games and I have opinions. Oh boy. But and again, Steelers fan, I am going to be harsh. I am going to be fucking harsh. But my first blue collar hell story. I was working for a company that went by the name of Myrmenex. It rhymes with that at least. And Myrmenex was I was a Far East tech running basically an entire county for residential at that time for Myrmenex. Terminex, what the fuck ever. And it was my first couple of years in the business full time. I'd gotten licensed by then, and I really wanted to do it because I grew up in a pest control family. My dad was a bug guy. I'm a bug guy. Once a bug guy, always a bug guy. Once you do pest control, you kind of have no other fucking outlet to do your shit besides comedy, I think, which has led me down this path. Yay. And so I get a call to go do a job in Conneaut, Ohio. And if you've never been to Conneaut, Ohio is a very rural, small town with like not very good, not very good restaurants, but they got a diner that's been open since like the fucking 1920s. It's a small town. A lot of people come and go from the city, but people are born there, but they always never die there. It's one of those kind of cities. There also breeds a thing called white trash, which I am. I consider myself white trash. If you go watch my stand-up, it's on my channel at Ray Hyclak on YouTube and also on Facebook. And Abraham Drinkin has the video as well. One of my best sets ever. And so I go in for this roach job thinking it's going to be kind of easy. Nothing really seems out of place, but I had also been in some disgusting situations early on in my pest control thing. So my nerves were kind of dead by at least a year in the business. And I'll never forget, I threw some prescription treatment raid, basically, behind the cabinets in the kitchen of this house. And they had bed bugs too. Like the house was just completely infested with insects and really gross. And this is fucking 9 years ago, so who knows if they're even dead. No, D-Rest, I will continue to speak because this is my show, the Ray Hyclak Show. Do you not see that logo right there? Do you not see that logo? This doesn't say Bro Bro Plata anymore, which in the sports segment, I'll talk about Bro Bro Plata and why that ended. But my blue collar hell for this was after I had sprayed the prescription treatment raid behind what I thought were covered cabinets, like closed Formica bullshit cabinets. They were not. They were open on top. And there was moldy food behind or in those cabinets, like super fucking moldy. Like there was black mold, kind of disgust. Like a part of me died, guys. Like a part of me really fucking died. It really made me never want to do this business again, but I love the fucking money in it. It's so fucking good if you really find a good company. And immediately called the fucking I found, and how I knew it was open was the roaches that were feeding off of the food in the cabinets got hit by my shit, flipped out, and started fucking running up the wall. Like right here's the cabinets, like right where my hand is. Nobody, I'm making sure my hand's a little bit above there. You need to be careful, especially on hand placement. But they could just go up the wall, and then we're starting to like hit me in the fucking top of the head, crawling on me, dying, getting all listless and shit. It all of a sudden, when I looked around, I started seeing fucking roaches everywhere. Like on the ground, there were teats up, a bunch of them in the bathroom by the kitchen. Who knows what was in the disgusting pile of clothes that they had in the laundry room. Like I said, the beds had bed bugs. At one point, I had to put my mask on to go upstairs because it was just a horrible scent of like piss. It was terrible. Awful fucking job, man. But the ending of the whole story kind of has a weird one because that was how I became employee of the month, I think, for October for Terminex. It's because I sold a bunch like my first month, and it was all just disgusting. The next story I tell next week will probably be one of the more unnerving stories that I've ever told on a stream. I don't think I've ever told it on a stream either. So who knows who's going to be able to stomach that or not. But yeah, my blue collar hell began at Terminex and continues in pest control to this, as Deontay Wilder says, to this day. Oh, I want to thank everybody, by the way, for sticking with me. I'm going to do a couple more segments. We're going to get out of here. But I just kind of want to introduce myself. I can't hear you. I don't have my glasses on. Move your lips slower. How about this, old man? You pay the fuck attention because I didn't have fucking sound earlier. So KZ MMA fucking told me that my sound wasn't on, and he was right. He was fucking right. Oh man. So let's get into this. Another segment I'm doing, which is some sports ball in your life. Here's the video for that and intro. I'll see you on the other side. And that's Sports Ball, everybody. This is the sports segment of the Ray Hyclak Show. Sports Ball, everybody. Kind of give you a little bit of thing. I love sports. I look like a guy who loves sports. I'm not a stat monkey. Not a stat monkey. I'm not somebody who knows how many rushing yards. Just throwing out a name just to show you, really, I don't really care that much about sports. But like Adrian Peterson ran this amount of yards on a Sunday when it was snowing. I could give a fuck. Is my team going to win? Is my team going to lose? Is my team going to embarrass themselves? Those are my three options when it comes to sports. Do I love mixed martial arts? And will we get to MMA coming up in a sec? You bet your fucking ass we are. But I do want to talk about some shit. And I'm happy. Today was the opening of the NFL season. I live in Cleveland, so you got the Steelers play, or the Bengals and the Browns playing today for the Battle of Ohio. It's always like a little bowl game that they play for each other before fucking Cincinnati actually goes to the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow. Browns lost 17-16. Hold on, let me play my sound. So we can all comfortably say the Browns season is officially over. They've lost their first game of the season. They've done what they need to do. They've done their job, which is lose. Myles Garrett was pretty good. The Samson kid they got playing for him. Let me kind of bring this up here. Browns lose 17-6 to the Cincinnati Bengals. And it wouldn't be an NFL season if the Browns didn't blow their home opener. I'm happy every year when the Browns do the thing that I always think that they should, which is just be, the worst team in football. They're just not a great team. They're the franchise for the Cleveland Browns. It's been over 25 years now since the Cleveland Browns have been a franchise in the National Football League, and nothing has really changed. The Learners had a shot a few times. They drafted Tim Couch, which didn't really work out, but Culpepper really wasn't that good either. The Cleveland Browns, to me, they're a fascinating case study. And as a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, next year I'll worry about the Pirates more. This year the season ended before the All-Star break. We had to fire our coach mid-season this year just because he sucked. And now we're actually good. Like, we're on a good little streak right now. Paul Skeens is doing good. We got Bubba up. But again, getting back to the game, Browns really couldn't do anything on offense. They had some really dopey calls in the fourth quarter that cost them the game, I think. Was not an ideal day. Let me crop that because I'm kind of bothered by the black lines, like the letter boxing. It's just, there we are. Let's pull that up a little bit, make it bigger. There we go. Oop, I gotta nope, not that. There we are. Sports ball. Nope, not that. Oh boy. There we are. Nope, not that. Maybe that. Maybe that. No. Where is this fucking logo? Oh. All right. What? Okay, hold on. Let me fix this here. What the fuck, dude? Oh, I'm letting my eyes deceive me here. I'm having a high moment, kids. Having a high moment. There's no chat. I have to add that to the next stream. Again, this is learning experiences. Patreon.com/the Ray Hyclak Show. Yeah, Browns, Joe Flacco. I will say this about Joe Flacco. It's kind of funny to me to see him have such a great start. Like, it's almost like he's showing you. You can never keep Joe Flacco down. He tried this game. The Cleveland Browns defense definitely did. Burrow and his crew didn't really have a good game, but what are you going to do? The Cincinnati Bengals take the Battle of Ohio. Here we go again. It's the Cleveland Browns, and they lose again. Hopefully, I'll be following it loosely throughout the season. So hopefully, you guys stick around for my football takes because they're terrible. They're not good. But let's talk about this, baby. Let's talk about the old wonder. Taking down the Jets. Aaron Rodgers somehow for my Steelers. I didn't know how this was going to be. I didn't know how the ayahuasca tent trip was going to be. I didn't know how Aaron Rodgers was going to take the thought of being an NFL quarterback again after an injury with the Jets 2 years in a row, wasting their entire time. The Steelers trade Aaron Rodgers, fucking Justin Fields, who is young, will have a future in the NFL, really great college player. Who knows? He could flounder in New York and we could never see him again. Who knows? Game was kind of chippy. Referees were calling some weird shit too on both games. But the Steelers and Jets game really got chippy towards, I think it was the third quarter. May have actually, no, it might have been the fourth. When JJ Watt or TJ Watt came out of the ground at Justin Fields and leveled him. I mean, absolutely fucked his world up. But yeah, the defense for the Steelers was the story here. Aaron Rodgers gets sacked. I forget how many times he got sacked. Let's bring up some stats. How many sacks did Aaron Rodgers? Chuck Clark, TJ Watt. I'm looking. Jets. There we are. Defense. 1, 2, 4. 4 sacks on the day. And Will McDonald, the fourth, was the one who got the 2 sacks on Aaron Rodgers. Steelers had 271 total offensive yards on the day, passing 218 of them. This is a really fucking sad stat right here if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. If you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and you see 53 rushing yards, 53 rushing yards, that should be cause for concern. That should absolutely be cause for concern because that's Steelers football. Steelers football has always been purely, no matter what, has always been smash mouth football, run it up to set up the passing. It's never been passing to set the run. It's been passing or running to set the passing up. And for the Steelers to do what they did this week and pull it out against the Jets, fucking amazing. But my favorite part now is UFC Paris. I'm using MMAholes.tv. UFC Paris live. Imavov versus Baralho. And we're just going to go down the card real quick a little bit to talk about it. Nassourdine Imavov, dominant performance, got the decision win against Kaiho Baralho. Kaiho really didn't do much except for squint in between rounds. Like, he was off, didn't look like his rhythm had any chance to stick against Nassourdine. Nassourdine's body movement is so fucking good anyway that he was able to really just negate any of Kaio's attacks. Both men had the same total amount of strikes. Significant strikes goes to Nassourdine Imavov. And he is basically now set up to be the number one contender at middleweight. So he'll be facing Khamzat Chimaev. It's an international card then, which is nice. But it's let's go down to Mauricio Hufi versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Benoit Saint-Denis just wore down Hufi to get this sub, got his back in the second, and was able to lock in a rear naked choke for a victory in his home country. This one was a bit of a travesty of just luck and everything. Kind of cost me in goat milk, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. Which was Paul Craig's last fight. The Bear Jew goes home. The Bear Jew, Paul Craig, after being heavily knocked out and just dazed and fucked up by an elbow strike by Modestus Bukakius at the bell. Like, he just couldn't get up, couldn't continue. He was out. Paul Craig laying on his back. He had a gash right on the eyebrow line going in a little bit and then out. He was fucked up. And after the fight, he retired, and Paul Craig retires, UFC icon now. Really entertaining fighter. And you hate to see a guy go out like that, but he made the right choice. He made the right choice. I think he made the right choice. So, Paul Craig, great career. And hopefully he finds more popularity in his future endeavors, for sure. This fight was just, what the fuck? This is why this fight was the reason why I love mixed martial arts. Mason Jones, Balaji Oki, lightweight contest, 155 pounds. Balaji Oki is dominating Mason Jones for the first part of the first round. Beating him, he dropped him, got on top of him, really didn't do much with it. Mason Jones finds his way back up, and Balaji Oki completely and utterly wilts the second half of the first round and this entire second round. I mean, was giving really no offense. Kind of looked like he had given up at that point. Like, he went for broke in the early part of the fight. Mason Jones comes back, finishes Balaji Oki with elbows. Goddamn. Amazing. That's my fight of the night. This fight, I think Herb Dean stopped it a little early Reese McKee, Axel Sola, welterweight competition. Axel Sola drops Reese McKee with body shots, gets his back, starts kind of throwing haymakers at McKee to Sola. And as McKee is going to hold the other arm to a hand fight and get up, Herb Dean stops it, and I think it was a terrible stoppage. I think it was way too early of a stoppage, and it could have gone a little further. Let him die a little bit more. It'd be perfect to do. Then this fight was awesome. This fight was a really fun featherweight contest versus William Gomis and Robert Rushala. And Gomis gets the decision handily. I mean, there was one judge that was 30-27. I gave it a 29-28. And Gomis gets the victory for the UFC Paris card. Now, guys, and actually I gotta do something real quick. I know it's wrong. Hold on. This wasn't at the top. Oh boy. You can hear it, but it's not there. So I have a news segment. Let me bring this back over here because we keep fucking up. I have a news and entertainment segment for everybody. And I have a couple stories that have been in the news for a while and a couple new ones that I want to talk about. And there's that. I got to put that there. All right, cool. Maybe I can bring this down. I don't know. Anyway, so when we have some news that we're talking about, and I give my opinion, capital letters right there, opinion on the news. It will always be my weekly take. It is my weekly take where I tell you the news I think you should know. This goes without saying that I needed to talk about this anyway, which was the Raja Jackson problem going on, where Raja Jackson beat up Psycho Stu almost to death. I mean, let's be honest with you, or let's be honest. He could have killed the guy. Granted, a lot of factors came into this. A lot of factors came into play on this situation. Raja was on a live stream being fucked with by people. His dad had fucked with his ego. And he decided and he decided to take matters into his own hands once given the opportunity, which he shouldn't have been. What really sucks about this whole situation is if Psycho Stu wouldn't have hit him with the can and also Raja being in the back for no reason whatsoever other than he's Raja Jackson, Quentin Rampage Jackson's son. marks aren't allowed in the locker room. I've seen that a lot lately. I agree with that. I'm a mark in professional wrestling. I am a fan. I have no reason to be in that locker room unless I'm being paid to be there or I'm doing like something with the show, interviews, ring announcing, shit like that. That's when you're allowed to be back there. Raja and his friends should have never been back there. This is Rikishi's professional wrestling company as well. They've lost their WWE ID deal as a result of this. We all know what happened. Like, I'm not gonna rehash everything. Knox Pro Wrestling, but like I just wanted to give a quick little opinion on it and just be like, the whole situation could have been avoided. The whole situation. Um, let's go to the next news story. This one's been around for a little while. Cheryl Richardson. I don't need your opinion. Cheryl Richardson. It's not her, by the way. This is not Cheryl Richardson. Cheryl Richardson, the woman. Let's see if I can get to this. Let's close this tab real quick. This is why I need a producer. There we are. Yeah, here's the video of what happened. See for yourself, and we'll go in more detail on this because I got opinions because I'm a baseball fan, and when you're in this scenario, you can't be what this bitch was. So, home run was hit, and I'm trying. Why? Oh, you're not gonna show the video. You're not gonna show the video. Oh, you're not gonna show the. Here we are. Yeah. So, yeah, right here. Grabs the ball. All right. If we can go back a little bit. Let me go back here. Shit's taking a little longer, but this doesn't really work. All right. Oh wait, hold on. All right. So, in this scenario, the ball has landed right here. All right. Ball's landed there. Everybody is in a scramble to get that ball, without a doubt. If you've ever been to a sporting event where, game memorabilia gets tossed in there, you've been in this situation. I had for a little while an arena football that I fought people for because it took a bounce my way, and I didn't even give it to a kid because I'd always wanted the arena ball. Always. And I lost it in the move. But, shit happens. So anyway, that happens. Guy gets it, gets the ball, takes it back, gives it to his fucking kid, man. Gives it to his fucking kid. And then this fucking does this. Look at this. Look at this Liz Warren haircut motherfucker. Just I'm sorry. I wanted to have that ball to bring home to my dog. That's what a haircut like that is. If you see a woman with a haircut like this, she's either in Congress or the manager at a fucking thrift store. That's it. The fact that she got mad shows me that she never lost. So again, gives it to the fucking kid. And then this happens. First of all, don't look. I love the kid. Like, what the fuck are you doing, lady? Like, what? Who are you? Like, why did you just do that? And then it's, excuse me, that was in my row. Scares the shit out of the fucking this poignant. Look at this fucking thing. Look at proud. This man is proud. He just got a ball for his boy, his son. And then you got the librarian over here just fucking up this wonderful goddamn moment. This cat lady scares the shit out of the poor guy. Look at him. He's just like, what the fuck? I'm surprised he didn't punch her. Like, he's taking every restraint. The kid just wants to tell him to go fuck herself. You can see that on his face. Like, the kid's just like, eat my ass, lady. This guy, he's just like, why are you fucking touching me, ho? Yeah. Yeah. And he's just, what a cuck. And like, he makes him give the ball back to this fucking bitch. Luckily, again, yeah, he going home with a signed bat. You know, the kid got something out of it. But man, you want to talk about just a shitbag? That woman is that one. And I've heard like, where is it? These stories are always the fun ones. There was apparently a few women who were wrongly ID'd because they actually found the woman's name. What's her name? What's the woman's name? Cheryl Richardson Wagner is her name. The woman herself, but this is not the account of the woman. This is a Red Sox fan who says, "Okay, everyone, I'm not the crazy Philly mom, but I sure would love to be as thin as she is and move as fast. I'm a Red Sox fan." People do take it a little bit too far sometimes when they do that. Ooh, look, a Kia ad. Cool. But that's a fun, that's kind of, where things can go wrong online. But I want to end on this for the news segment, and then I want to talk about Bro Bro Plata for a little bit, because coming up in about an hour and 40, I didn't expect to go this long. Sometimes the episode will go longer, sometimes it won't. But while we were gone, The Wizard of Oz premiered at the Spheres, like a entertainment thing, and you can see like an AI version of the wizard talking to you, welcoming you, which is kind of cool, actually. And the fucking the Sphere, we've seen it in UFC, we've seen it in a few other things, videos, Backstreet Boys, all this, but I kind of wanted to share this little nugget before we go to go basically to the ending segment, the end credits of the night, because I'm tired. Where is it? Come on, baby. It's right here. So they're doing it, and one of the special effects that comes along with basically like the 5K aspect of the Sphere are these little prop apples that drop from the ceiling in certain sections. I've heard it's like section 400 you can get into, and all this, but these motherfuckers are taking it too far and selling these apples for $250 and higher online, some $500 for a fucking foam apple that drops from the thing as just a special thing to show the Wizard of Oz. Judy Garland's daughter had been there. I'm a big Wizard of Oz fan. I love Return to Oz. I love that movie so much. It's a fever dream. It really is. But okay, so kind of want to address something I said I would, but I've gotten a little bit ahead of my skis here, or out on my skis, if you will. Oh boy, where's that going? I gotta. Why aren't you working? There we are. So I used to be a part of a podcast called Bro Bro Plata. It was an MMA podcast, and said wanted to talk about why it ended, and to be honest, it was just we grew apart as people. We both started getting different views on the world, and from then on, I made it a point. You can go back and watch the episode. Now, again, I'm not an innocent person on this. But when you're called hard right by somebody who you trust and like, you just want to say no at that point. And if you go back, Bro Bro Plot on Facebook or YouTube, you can see the final episode where I blow up on him, or I blow up on Tim Danko, the guy that I was with, and he leaves the stream. We had a texting. We're still friends. But yeah, I just got tired of having a podcast partner that really didn't do much, along with not really having the motivation to do much. It was a weird symbiotic partnership for 5 years. Glad it's over. Glad we did it. But Bro Bro Plata will always be there. And honestly, I think I've really overstayed my welcome a little bit tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Next week, or next Saturday, UFC Noche will be a thing. And we're going to break that down on the Ray Hyclak Show. Make sure, go support me on Patreon at the Ray Hyclak Show. Link in the description on YouTube, Facebook, and also on my X. If you want to support me on X, go to my page, patreon.com/the Ray Hyclak Show. I want to also, before we leave, thank George Gresco for allowing me to be on the platform of Abraham Drinking, get the people out there, and share along in the entertainment. I really appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you guys watch every week. For everything I'm trying to do with this is an ever evolving project. Different things will be up there, but tomorrow, patreon.com, the Ray Hyclak Show, I review the movie Weapons, so stick around for that, or keep an eye out for that. Patreon.com/the Ray Hyclak Show. Make sure to click or you see all the social media link or ads down below as well in the descriptions. They are there for you to peruse. And I wanted to come up with a catchphrase, something to end the show on, something I didn't think was poignant or anything like that. It's nothing really thing. But I wanted to end by saying, as a bug guy, I've gone into a lot of places. I've gone into a lot of spaces with different people in them, public or residential. And there's one thing that I think I can bring to the table when it comes to a unifying message, which is rich, poor, indigent, can't move, or one of the best athletes in the world. Remember this, regardless of your social status in life, everybody gets bugs, folks. Everybody gets bugs, and I hope you remember that. Thank you, guys. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. And I appreciate you being here for the initial episode of the Ray Hyclak Show and sticking with me. Thank you very much. I'm going to drink some more beer, go to bed. I got to work in the morning. And as always, everybody gets bugs. Have a good night, guys.